In this video, I will tell you how we made these beautiful floating shelves. And by the end of this video, you will also know how to. First, I get to the job. Prior to this, the customer's told me how she wants the shelves, where she wants the shelves, and what material she would like the shelves made out of. So first, I just measure and mark the height of the shelves, how far the shelves coming out, and the length of the shelves. I then get my measurements. It's always best to write down these measurements. I then tell my apprentice these measurements because he's doing all the cutting for today. I then draw out exactly where the shelves need to be while the apprentice is cutting the timber. Once the lengths are cut, I test the back piece to make sure it will fit. Once I'm sure it will fit, I can then start making a frame up. Because this frame is over 1 meter wide, we are putting some noggins in to give the frame a bit more extra strength, and so we can get more fixings to secure the MDF. Before you secure the frame, you should check both sides are the same measurement to ensure the frame is square. Once you're happy with the measurements, you can start making up the frame, leaving off the front piece. Once the frame is made up, you can then put it in its place, level it and secure it. Because we are going through brick, I'm using my STS and wall plugs. If going into a stud wall, you should use a stud finder to find a stud to fix to. It may also be best to use plasterboard screws and glue. Once the frame is secured, at this point you can test the front piece. Once the frame is secured, you can then secure the front piece. And once the frames are fully done, we can start ripping down the MDF. Here we are using our table saw because it's a little bit faster, but if you don't have a table saw, you can use a track saw, a circular saw, a handsaw, or even a jigsaw, although I don't recommend using a jigsaw. Once Once all the boards are cut, you can start putting them in place and seeing if they need to be scribed. As you can see, this one needed to be scribed a little bit to suit the wall. So what I've done, I've built out the frame, the back piece, the front piece, and the noggins in between, which makes it very sturdy. Okay, I'm just gonna put some glue around it as well, just to hold it even more secure. It's got all the fixings, it's going into brick, but I just want to put some glue around it just to make it 100% secure. And then we put in, the apprentice has cut down all of the MDF pieces, so we're just putting one at the top, one at the bottom, then putting a face piece on, sand it down, and then we'll be done. We also have got a handrail to do as well. Okay, so I'm just gonna crack on with that now. Try and get done as fast as possible with good quality. And then that is it for today. Oh, and we've got some skirting to fit. But yeah. On day 2, we just fit all of the MDF sheets. We have made the sheets a bit wider just in case we need to scribe the MDF in to suit the walls. Once the MDF has been scribed in and is fitting perfectly, we then can secure the sheets. To do this, I apply glue all on the frame, on the top and on the bottom. I then put the sheet on and then use my nail gun to secure it. I then follow the same process to do the top and all 3 of the shelves. Once the top and bottom are secured, if needed, use your sander to get rid of any overhangs. Once that's done, you can start cutting the front piece. Once the front is cut, I then use the same method to secure it using glue and nails. Once everywhere is secured, I go around with my polyfiller and fill any holes that the nail gun has made. And this is what it should look like after. Painted and fully decorated. This is probably the moment a lot of you have been waiting for. How much this job costs in labour and materials. So for this job, the customer told me how thick she wants the shelves, which was round about 50mm, which is also 2 inches. So for the frame, this is the timber I used, which is rough sawn timber, and it comes at 25mm by 30mm. And this is the price. The client wanted a shelf that was easily paintable, something she could paint the same colour as her walls. So we used MDF. I used 12mm MDF for the top and bottom of the shelf, which brought up the total thickness of the shelf to round about 50mm. So for one timber frame to make up one shelf, I used 3 of these timbers, which came up to £11.97. And for one shelf, I used 1 sheet of MDF, which came up to £31. You can make 2 shelves out of 1 sheet. I didn't add the price of the filler, screws, nails and wall plugs because I already had the stock. But I did put £15 on top because it's still my stock I'm using. So all the materials for 1 shelf came up to £57.91p. That's for the frame, the timber made for the frame, the MDF and the screws and wall plugs that I provided and everything like that. For all 3 shelves it came up to £112.91p for all the materials. Now for the labour I charged £250. This was a deal with doing the handrail and some other bits and bobs. Strictly for the shelves I would have probably just charged £220 for just doing the shelves. If you think my labour price is too high, you need to take into consideration the time and petrol it takes to get the materials, the time and petrol it takes to get to the job, and my years of experience I've actually undertaken to learn the skills to actually do the job to a decent or good quality, and the £1,000 worth of tools I actually used to do the job, because without the tools it would have been a lot longer and harder to do the job. On the other hand, if you think I've done this job too cheap, it's just the price I was happy with. But either way, in the comments let me know what you think. And if you like more of these types of videos, please consider liking, subscribing, because you, the viewers, are what motivate me to keep doing these videos. Without you, there would be no TT Dog Carpentry. Also, if you have any video suggestions, let me know and I'll add it to my video ideas list. I do check every comment because I appreciate everyone who comments, likes and watches this video, so I will reply to all comments within time. But thank you for watching this video, and soon I am doing a video on racking out this van because it needs some racking in. If you got any ideas on how I should rack out this van while being able to put in sheet materials in, let me know in the comments or on my Instagram. But until next time, thank you and goodbye.